Good morning, depending on whenever you're practicing or whenever you jump on screen. We're going to start on our backs today. Our bodies are probably holding a lot of tension. I know mine is for sure. So one of the greatest ways that we can start our practice is by making sure that we have a strap close by and handy. And then we'll start in a restorative or supported bridge. And you'll place your block on the flat part of your back where your sacrum is. 90 degrees cactus arms. Just take a few moments as you let your eyes close, as you let your jaw soften, as you let your feet press into the earth. And let yourself be nourished by the block holding you up. We're going to do a body scan before we start to get moving. And if it feels good for you, you'll keep the eyes closed and just scan now your jaw. Notice if you're hardening or gripping. Scan your shoulders. Notice if they're up by the ears. Scan the arms. Notice if your fingers might be clenched or tight. Observe and scan your belly, your low back. Observe and scan your hips. Scan the tops of your thighs and the backs of your hamstrings. Go ahead and scan your knees. Scan your shin bones and calves. Scan the ankles. Scan the tops of the feet. Scan the bottoms of your feet. Now simply observe your breath. Notice if your inhalation or your exhalation is a little bit longer. We'll take a 3-part breathing technique called Krama breath. We'll inhale for a count of 3 and visualize your belly filling up. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, and then pause here. And then inhale a little bit more for another 3 counts and feel the side ribs, feel the rib cage and shoulders filling up. 1, 2, 3. Go ahead and inhale now as much as you can and visualize filling your entire body up, your throat, your crown, all the way down to the feet, until you cannot inhale anymore, and then retain the breath like you're capping a soda bottle. Exhale all of the air out through the nostrils. As you get to the bottom of the exhalation, almost as if you're wringing out a towel, you'll notice the inhalation rushing back in. And then once again, just simply observe your natural rhythm of your breath without laboring, without distorting. We'll lift the hips up, slide the block out from underneath. And then walk your feet as wide as your mat, your knees slightly in towards each other. Let your knees windshield wiper over to the right side and leave it there. If it feels good for your body, you can keep the eyes closed, the jaw soft. And observe on the left side, the rib cage, the intercostal muscles, outer part of the hip opening up. Keep your feet down to the earth, draw the knees back together, moving slowly. And let your knees now windshield wiper the opposite way. Once again, observe how the right side of your body is feeling. Right side intercostal muscles, right side hip. One side of the body is usually a little bit more user-friendly than the other. And in today's practice, we're simply going to observe which side might be a little bit more dominant. Draw your feet back to the earth. Take your time, no rush. And heel-toe your feet in towards each other. Draw your right knee into your chest. Interlace your fingers on top of the right shin bone. And then circle the right foot a few times in one direction. A few times the opposite direction. You might hear some snaps, crackles, and pops, some excess vata, excess air. And then slide your left leg in front of you. Heel the toes back towards the crown. Lift the head, lift the shoulders off of the earth. Maintain space here for an apple. Ekapada Apanasana. You might float the arms alongside your hip bones if that feels good. You might lift that left leg up. Remember, you always have agency to dial it down a notch, lowering the leg. And then notice if you're gripping, if you're tightening in the jaw and the neck. Take one more smooth breath here to inhale. Exhale, lower the left leg down, lower the shoulders. Find your strap, hopefully it's close by, and loop it around the ball of your right foot. Let the arm bones fall into the earth and just extending about 60%, not going to your full range. Feel free to keep the eyes closed here. And then observe the back of the right side hamstring, back of the right knee. Notice if your hands are gripping your towel, your strap, or whatever you're using to help assist. And see if you can soften. Many times we think in life we have to force or labor and push. And we'll find that less is more. Keeping the eyes closed, see if you can peel the toes back towards your face, and you might feel sensation here in the calf. Notice if you're gripping, if you're hardening with that sensation, and see if you can soften. Take both ends of the strap now into the right hand. Gently open up that right leg, just about 10%. Left hand on top of your left side hip bone, anchoring it down. And you might feel some sensation running on the inside of that right side inner thigh. Once again, observe. Observe if you're forcing. Observe if you're laboring or making this more intense than it needs to be. We'll take the strap now into the left hand and gently guide that right leg over to the left side. Again, just crossing the midline of the body. Right thumb inside of the right hip crease and draw that right hip bone down. What you might feel now is some sensation running on the outside of the right side hip all the way down the IT band to the right side ankle. And then notice if your jaw is clenched. Notice if you're gripping with this left hand. Can you soften? Can you find ease within this shape without forcing or judging yourself? Slowly draw that right leg back to center. We'll remove the strap and we'll make a figure 4. Cross your right ankle over the top of the left thigh. Few options here. You can stay here with the left foot planted on the ground. You can lift that left leg up to 90 degrees, interlacing your hands around that left thigh bone. Right tricep, opening up that right side thigh. You can also interlace your fingers on top of the left shin bone and draw that left leg towards you. And then notice what your tendency is when you start to feel sensation. Our nervous system has an inner pharmacy. In the same way, our inner pharmacy can distribute histamine, cortisol if we're stressed. It can also distribute the hormones of serotonin and oxytocin, the feel-good hormones. So where can I feel good without forcing my body into a shape? Release your left leg down, release the right leg. And just take a moment here as your pelvis and your hips realign. And then invite that left knee to your chest. Interlace your fingers around the shin bone and go ahead and circle that left ankle a few times in one direction, a few times in the opposite direction. As the colder months set in, depending on where you're practicing, you might notice some excess air bubbles or some cracking in the joints. Gently extend that right leg in front of you. Take your time here. And then you might lift the head up. This is optional. Maintain space for an apple between your chin and your chest, and visualize a line of energy running from your crown all the way down your spine. This might be enough for you. You might feel your core fired up. You might be invited to float the arms alongside your hip bones. You might feel like kicking it up a notch and lifting that right leg up. And then notice, as soon as you do that, if you're clenching in the jaw, if your breath is labored. You know, we're staying for a little bit longer here. And see if you can find that space where you can find ease in this shape, even if it's challenging. Remember, you can always lower that right leg. One more full breath here. Right leg lowers down. Loop your strap now around the ball of your left foot and let the arm bones fall into the earth. So less with the hands and shoulders. And then you're only going to about 60% with that left leg. We're not going to the full range here. Close the eyes. 80% of what we perceive comes through our eyes. And when we close our eyes, we invite feeling. What am I feeling? How is my body responding? Into our perception, into our sensory realm. Keeping the eyes closed, notice if your hands are gripping, if you're hardening in the jaw, if the shoulders are off of the earth. Keep peeling the toes back towards your face, and you might begin to feel sensation in the calf here. Give yourself enough slack with the strap so that you can enjoy the sensation of this stretch, not feel stress. We'll take both ends of the strap now into the left hand and then gently open up that left leg, just about 10%. Right hand on top of the right hip. Anchor down. You're pausing until you feel sensation on that left inner thigh. Not forcing, nowhere to get, but just simply breathing into the space of the inner groin that's opening up. And then take both ends of the strap into the right hand. Take your time now. Gently guide that left leg over to the right side. Left thumb inside of the left hip crease. Draw that left hip down. And then as you close the eyes, send your breath down the side of the left leg, from the hip all the way to the ankle. Breathe into this shape without gripping, without forcing. Draw that left leg back to center. Take your time. And then release the strap. Cross your left ankle over the top of the right thigh and then pause here for a moment. Few options. You can stay with this right foot on the ground, left hand on top of the left thigh. You can lift that right leg 90 degrees off of the earth and thread your hands through, holding on to the right side thigh, left elbow on top of the left thigh. You can move towards bringing the right thigh a little bit closer and hold on top of the shin bone. Choose what feels right for you. There are 8 billion people on this planet with 8 billion different unique recipes for balance. Give yourself what you need. Take up space in your body, knowing you don't have to look like me or anybody else. Release your right leg down. Take a moment here. Uncross that left leg. And then draw the knees into the chest. You might rock and roll forward and back if that feels good for you. Come up to a comfortable seat. You might roll over to one side and guide yourself up. And coming to a comfortable seat, whatever feels right for you. Stretch the arms wide. Lift the heart, lift the gaze. Inhale. Exhale, interlace your fingers around your spine. Breathing in, opening up to light, radiance, magnetism. Breathing out, feeling that light charge and transform to every cell of your body. Take this a few more times on your own. You don't have to match my tempo. Don't have to move to my rhythm. I do want you to find that place where it starts to feel delicious in your body. The very word yoga means to yoke. And it's not about fancy postures or arm balances. It's about how can I feel good and yoke all the parts of my body, of my mind, of my experience on this plane into something that feels nourishing, enjoyable, sustainable. The next time you round forward, no rush at all, reach your arms straight up. Press your palms high to the ceiling, root the tailbone down, and once again, visualize that line of energy from your crown all the way down your spine to your base. Take a smooth breath here to inhale, and on your exhalation, twist it out to the right side. Right hand behind you, left hand on top of that right thigh. You might close the eyes here. Grow the spine long on the inhalation. Wrap the ribs around the axis of your spine on the exhalation. Leave your left hand where it is. Reach that right arm long by the ear and anchor your hip down. Little side stretch. Cross your right hand over to the left knee and then lift the elbows up. You might hold on to the shoulders and shake the head side to side. Just moving gently within your own body. If this feels good for you, you might stay here. Another option is to move the backs of the hands towards each other or the palms. Again, if it feels like it's too much, if it feels like you're hardening, or if you're overcompensating with the breath, come back to a place that feels joyful. And then release the arms. Take a smooth breath to inhale. Feel as if you're gathering light. Interlace your fingers now and picture the opposite hand as dominant. Press the palms high, root the tailbone down. And one more time, stretch the breath here. Exhale, take a little twist over to the left side. This time, left hand behind you, right hand on top of the left thigh. Inhale the spine long. Exhale, wrap the ribs around the axis of the spine and pause. Then notice if your eyes might be open or closed, if your jaw might be hardening or clenched. Notice if you might be over-efforting. Leave your right hand where it is. Take your left arm long by the ear and anchor that left hip bone down to the earth. And then notice what might feel really good here. Notice if you might be pushing towards your edge. Cross your left hand now over to the right knee. Let the elbows cross and then lift the elbows up, holding onto the shoulders. You might shake the head side to side. Towards the end of the year, we tend to be very much in our heads. Then our neck, our jaw, our shoulders become very tight. So this might feel very good to stay here. You might work towards the backs of the hands or palm to palm. Again, where feels joyful and nourishing? What feels like you can sustain? And then release the arms down. Take a smooth breath and circle the arms around and up. Exhale, press the palms down the midline of the body and pause at your heart center. As we move towards the beginning of a new season, we close out what already has passed. I invite you to set an intention for your practice. What's something that you wish to see shift for your life? Bring that into your practice. And I invite you to add something else that you wish to see shift, maybe for the collective, someone other than yourself. You can chant the sound Om with me, or simply receive. Let's take a deep breath to inhale. Draw your chin towards your chest. Half blink your eyes open. And let's come up onto hands and knees. Make sure your blocks are in front of you. Hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Take a smooth breath to inhale, broaden across the chest and collarbone. Exhale, press the tops of the toes into the mat, navel into the spine. And breathing in, opening up to light, radiance, magnetism. Breathing out, feeling that light charge and transform to every cell of your body. Breathing in, you might listen or hear the sound sa on the inhalation. Breathing out, you might hear the sound hum on the exhalation. Continue to move like this a few times on your own. If it feels good for you, you might start to make some hip circles, releasing the head, the pelvis. You might circle the opposite way, releasing the neck, the head, the jaw. Come back through neutral spine. Pause here. Walk your hands a little bit in front of your shoulders. Tuck your toes underneath you, and with resistance, take your hips up and back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Dogs like to be walked, so go ahead and pedal the heels out. Might shake the head side to side, might trill the lips. On your next inhalation, take your right leg straight up and back, all 5 toes like you're pressing into a wall. Exhale, step that right foot forward, help it up. Hands to blocks, grow the spine long on your inhalation. Step the left leg to meet the right, take a smooth breath to inhale, and on your exhalation, fold it forward with an asana. Sweep the arms around and up, inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale straight back down like you're moving through water, Uttanasana. Feel the inhalation lift your heart, lift your gaze. Exhale, the right leg steps way back. Step your left leg to meet your right and lower your knees down to the earth. Draw the elbows straight back and lower your chest in one unit, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, lift your heart, baby cobra. Maybe shake the head side to side. Exhale, release. Again, inhale, lift the heart. Maybe lift the hands this time. Feel the back muscles fire up. Exhale, release. Option to stay with one of those 2 options or slide the hands back. Lift the heart, maybe moving into upward facing. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Either rolling over the toes or moving through table pose, plank, what feels right for you. And then organize your body. No rush, nowhere to get. Inhale your left leg straight up and back. Exhale, step that left foot in between the hands. Help it up. Hands to blocks. Right leg meets the left. Grow the spine long. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, pour forward over the thighs, Uttanasana. Sweep the arms around and up, as if you're pouring light, gathering light. Exhale, fold it forward and feel it merge into every cell of your body. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Feel that connection from crown to base, and step your left leg back. No rush. Step your right leg to meet your left. Lower your knees down. Press the tops of the toes into the earth and slowly, with resistance, draw the elbows straight back. 2-part cobra. Feel the inhalation move you away from the earth. Feel the exhalation move you towards the earth. Again, lift the heart on your inhalation. Maybe lift the hands. If it's too much, you can always put them back down. Exhale, release. You can stay there or slide the hands back. Lift the heart, upward facing. Just an option. Let your exhalation bring you back to down dog. No rush. And then reorganize the segments of your body. Let it feel good. Let it feel nourishing. Inhale the right leg up. Exhale, step that right foot in between your hands. Help it up. This time we'll lower the knee down. Back knee comes down. Draw your blocks by your hips. And let's take kneeling lunge. Smooth breath here to inhale. Exhale and reach that left arm forward, the right hand behind you. Biceps long by the ears. Smooth breath here to inhale. Come back to center. Hands to your blocks. Move them slightly forward. Lift that left knee up. Maybe lift that right arm up. Twisted lunge. Gaze up at that right thumb. Right hand comes back down to the block. Step the left leg forward. Help it up if you need. And grow the spine long on the inhalation. Let your exhale pour you forward over your thighs. Stay here. Generous bend over your knees. Hold onto your elbows and then ragdoll your body side to side. We hold a lot of tension in the neck and the jaw. When we let gravity help us, it helps to release the downward energy up, move the upward energy down. Switch the crossing of the arms. Same thing, little ragdoll here. You might trill the lips. You might open up the jaw as if you have 5 pieces of bubble gum and chew. Then come back to center, let your body hang heavy, and then sweep the arms around and up. Notice if you might be rushing the breath. Exhale, fold it forward. Smooth breath on the exhalation. Exhale all the breath out. Inhale, lengthen, lift the heart. Exhale, the right leg steps back. Exhale, the left leg steps back. Now you can skip this. You can move back to down dog. You can lower the knees down as you did before, or you can lift yourself all the way down. That's right, lift yourself. So you're lowering, but you're lifting. And then inhale, baby cobra. Back of the neck is long. Exhale, release. Do that again. Inhale, lift. Maybe lift the hands. All life is duality. There's a push and a pull happening at the same time. Release. You might stay there. You might move into upward facing dog, only if that feels good and nourishing and delicious for you. Move back to down dog. That might mean moving through table. That might mean taking a modified stance. That might mean rolling over the toes. And then organize your body. How can it feel delicious? Just in this shape. Don't have to rush. Don't have to look like anybody else. Let's stay here and take a smooth breath to inhale through the nose. And let's open up the mouth and sigh that breath out. And let's do that again. Let's inhale. And then on the exhalation, this time I want you to feel like you're exhaling out everything that's been weighing you down. And then on your next inhalation, take that left leg straight up and back. Exhale, step that left foot forward. Help it up if you need. And then lower the back knee down. Draw your hands to blocks, keeping the hands there. Feel a little lift of the pelvic floor as the arms move up. Maybe gaze up. Exhale, twist it out to the left side. Right arm is forward, left hand behind. Inhale, draw the arms back up, no rush. Exhale, hands move down to the blocks, move them slightly forward, and then lift that back knee up into lunge. Right hand stays on the block, left arm swoops up. Gaze at that thumb. Left hand comes down as the right leg steps forward. Smooth breath here to inhale, use your blocks to lengthen. Exhale, generous bend over the thighs. And then let's ragdoll again. And this time, I really want you to be aware that your belly, that your rib cage is on top of your thighs and that there's a little bit of a bend in the knees here. And the reason for that is when we keep a little bit of a bend on the knees, it helps to actually release the low back. When we lock the knees, It creates more stiffness in the low back region. Shift the crossing of the arms, ragdoll your body the opposite way. The closer the belly and the rib cage are to the thighs, the more elongation you create in the back body. Then come back to center. Take your time, let your head be the last part to roll up. And then gather that intelligence, gather that light. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana, pour it forward into you. Inhale, lengthen the spine, Ardha Uttanasana, flat back here. Exhale that left leg way back. Exhale that right leg to meet it. And then ask yourself, do I need to skip that sequence and move back to down dog? Do I need to lower my knees down? Or can I use the breath and push, resist, Chaturanga, belly all the way down. Two-part cobra. Inhale, lift the heart. Feel the back of the neck long. Exhale, move towards the earth. Again, inhale, move away from the earth, maybe lift the hands. Notice if you're gripping, if you're hardening in the jaw, release. Stay with one of those two options or move yourself into upward facing. What feels right for you? Downward facing, however you need to get there. And then we sigh 2 rounds of breath out through the mouth here. Inhale through the nose. Open the mouth. And then do that again. Exhale anything you want to release. Deep breath in. Exhale. We're going to sweep that right leg straight up. We're going to roll that right hip on top of the left. Bend the right heel over to the left side. And keep squaring the shoulders here. Step that right foot forward. Help it up if you need. Bring your hands towards your blocks, and then we're going to move to lengthen the front leg. Hop your back leg up 1/3 of the way, but anchor into that back heel. So I'll move the block out of the way. You're in pyramid pose, kind of looking like an Egyptian hieroglyphic. Not quite on a tightrope here, so one foot in line with each hip. Hands towards the blocks. Grow the spine long here on the inhalation. Back of the neck is long. And then on your exhalation, pour yourself forward over your front thigh. We're going to pause. We're going to hang out here for a little bit. Just as we started on our backs, I want you to keep working that right hip back. That means keep pulling the right hip back and letting the left hip move forward. And then notice if you might be favoring that front leg. If you might be putting most of your weight into the front leg, can you anchor into that back heel? Left heel anchored onto the ground. Shorten the stance as much as you need. Forward bends help us to calm down if we're feeling anxious. They also help to open up the back body, which is where the unconscious resides. We're going to take a smooth breath to inhale. Bring your hands back to the blocks. 3 different heights for the blocks. Grow the spine long. Leave your left hand on a block directly underneath the shoulder. Right hand is going to go to your sacrum. Grow the spine long on the inhalation and then roll that right shoulder on top of the left. You might stay here. You might move to extend that top hand. And then notice if you might be gripping in the jaw, in the neck. Release the right hand down. Step your left leg forward, help it up, and take a smooth breath to lengthen. Smooth breath to fold it forward. And then sweep the arms around and up. You're going to stay standing and press the palms down the midline of the body. Pause here. Sweep the arms straight up. Interlace your fingers. Point your finger points up. Pour your weight into your left foot. Side bend over to the right side. Once again, just check in if you're gripping, if you're hardening, if the jaw is tightening. Come back to center. Gaze up, switch the crossing of the hands. Exhale, pour the weight into the right big toe mound. Little side bend over to the left. Come back to center. Lift the heart, lift the gaze. Exhale, pour yourself forward over your thigh bones. Grow the spine long on your inhalation. And then your choice of the transition. You can hop, you can jump back. If you're jumping with bent elbows into chaturanga. You can move into upward facing, down dog, one of the cobras, or skip it and simply meet in down dog. And then once you settle in down dog, take a moment and reorganize your feet, your arm bones, what feels right for you. You might open up the mouth and sigh the breath out. You might nod the head yes, shake it side to side. Might trail the lips. And then sweep that left leg straight up. Roll your left hip on top of the right. Bend that left heel over to the right side. Open it up. Square the shoulders. Step that left foot in between the hands. Help it up. Lengthen your front leg. Hop your back leg up a third of the way over to the right side. And then anchor that right hip down. Grow the spine long on your inhalation. Pour yourself forward over your thighs on the exhalation. And then just check in for a moment. Are all 10 of my toes facing the same direction, which should be forward? Is my back heel anchored? Is my weight too forward? Can I create a little bit of balance and distribute my weight evenly? And then once again, keep drawing the left hip back, the right hip forward. Let your head hang heavy here. You might notice that sensation opening up in the back of the left thigh. Take a smooth breath to inhale. Hands to blocks. Keep your right hand underneath the right side shoulder. Grow the spine long and gently bring that left hand to your sacrum. Exhale, revolve that left shoulder on top of the right. You're breathing into the side ribs here. You might extend that top arm straight up. Be mindful that it's not somewhere behind you or too far forward. Take a smooth breath here to inhale. Exhale that left arm down. And then step that right leg forward. Grow the spine long on the inhalation. Generous bend, belly on top of the thighs, little bend in the knees. And then this time, let's walk our hands up the fronts of the thighs. Head is going to be the last part to roll up. Once again, as if you're doing this for the first time, sweep the arms around and up, Urdhva-hastasana. Interlace your fingers, point your finger points up. Side bend over to the left side first this time. Anchor into that right big toe. Come back to center. Side bend over to the right side. Anchor into that left big toe. Come back to center. Lift the heart, lift the gaze. Exhale, pour yourself forward. Let your inhalation lengthen your spine. Your choice of the transition. You can hop, step, jump back with bent elbows. You can skip it. You can take the variation that feels nourishing for you in this moment. The practice of yoga is for you to get to know what feels right for you, not what looks good, but what feels right, what feels nourishing. Downward facing dog, wherever you are, we're going to take a slow stroll forward. Or strut, as I like to call it. From here, a little generous bend on the knees. Slowly let yourself rise. Palms face forward. Just take a moment without arranging your clothes, your hair, your anything else. Take up space in your own body. And then step that left leg back into warrior two. And then notice if this back hip is up. See this quite a lot. Back hip is not aligned. Hands to the hips, level the pelvis. Feel a subtle lift of the pelvic floor. And then bring the hands towards your shoulders. See if you can see your elbows without turning your head. And then from there, lengthen the arms. Right palm faces up, peaceful warrior. 𝗔𝗿𝘁𝘀𝘁'𝘀. You can do this with a straight or bent leg. Exhale, extended side angle. Right hand on top of the right thigh, left arm's long by the ear. We'll do this a few times. Inhale to peaceful warrior. You can do this once again with a straight or bent leg. Exhale to extended side angle. You don't have to wait for me to cue you. You can move to your breath. What's going to feel delicious in your body? What's going to feel like you want to luxuriate and stay there longer, not hop out of the pose or the posture? And the next time you come to extended side angle, I want you to pause here for a moment. See if you can lean back and really open up this beautiful long line. You might move that right hand to the inside of your thigh on a block and take that left arm up. You might flip the left palm. If it's part of your practice, send it way back and take a half bind. Again, where can I sustain? And options are like a buffet, right? Don't have to eat everything at the buffet. Don't have to take every option that's offered. If it's part of your practice, you might take a bind with or without the strap. Again, options are there for you to choose what feels nourishing in this moment. And then whichever variation you're in, you're gonna find your peaceful warrior. Nice big breaths. Come back through warrior two. Pause here for a moment. We're gonna rotate the right toes in, left toes face forward towards your back, and find yourself into warrior two here. And then notice if this back hip is sticking up. Bring your hands to your hips, level your pelvis so the water center is even. Feel a little lift of the pelvic floor, hands to your shoulders. Without turning the head, notice if the elbows are behind, and then unfold the arms. Left palm faces up. Peaceful warrior. Stretch the breath here. Extended side angle. Left hand on top of the left thigh, right arm long. And you're going to start to move between those two postures, luxuriating in the breath. You can take peaceful warrior with a straight leg. It's also known as stargazer. Notice if there's any part of your flow, and you don't have to match my breath. Notice if there's any part of your breathing where it stops short or you're holding your breath. When you hold your breath, that means that you're contracting or hardening. And what we're looking for in shapes or postures, asana, is that fluidity of the breath, where it's seamless, and the inhalation is moving into the exhalation is moving into the inhalation without being forced. Next time you come to extended side angle, I want you to pause here. You might stay, so a few options. You can stay here, and all you're gonna do is breathe into leaning back and opening up that right side armpit, right side rib cage. You might slide that left hand to the inside, place it on a block, and then take that right arm straight up. So it's one long line. Might flip that right hand if it's part of your practice. Send it way back. That creates spaciousness in the shoulder blades. And take a half bind. Again, where can I sustain the breath? Not pop out of the pose. And then fourth option, you might move towards a bind if that's feeling good and nourishing. You can do this with a strap if you'd like. Yogis measure our lives by the number of breaths we take, not by the years. So we look to elongate the breath, even in the most challenging situations, not just shapes, right? The shapes are just a metaphor. Peaceful warrior. Lengthen the breath. Stack the shoulders over the hips, pause here. And then we're gonna rotate the left toes in, rotate the right toes in. Resist the urge to open out the feet. Lift your heart, lift your gaze. Stick your tongue out of your mouth. It's called asana breath. And then tip your pelvis forward. Leave your feet where they are. If the hands don't quite reach the earth, you're gonna place a block underneath each shoulder, each hand. And then grow the spine long. Pour yourself forward. If inverting is part of your practice and that feels right for you, you can do that. If bringing the forearms down to the earth and keeping a little micro bend in the knees is what feels best, do that. More of what feels good, delicious, and nourishing. We'll grow the spine long, whichever variation you're in. Grow the spine long on the inhalation. And then bring the hands to the hips. Take your time and rise through a flat back. And we'll bring the toes out now, the heels in, going into horse stance. So we'll spread the fingers as wide as we can. We'll take Karana Mudra. So it looks almost as if you're making Texas Longhorn fingers. So the thumb, the middle, and the ring finger all touch. Index and pinky are out. Gonna bend the knees, open up the elbows. Take a smooth breath, inhale, stick the tongue out of the mouth. Sounds fun. 2 more times like that. And it's highly purifying and detoxifying. Take that one more time, inhale. And then take your time as you lengthen your legs. Bring your hands to your hips. Left leg steps forward, samastiti. Then sweep the arms around and up. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, standing forward fold, your choice of the transition here. Or guess what? You can skip it and simply step back to down dog. Taking your time in downward facing dog, the next posture that we're gonna set up for is pigeon pose. If you know that pigeon is not something that feels right for you, I'm gonna show you the variation first, and that's ankle to knee pose. And if you have a wall or a couch that you can do this, you can take ankle to knee on your back, how we started, and place one foot against your couch. The other is going to simply cross, right hand on top of the right thigh, and move it away from you. If you don't happen to have a wall or anything close by to prop, you can take ankle to knee on your back and come back into this shape. If you are in downward facing dog, and you've noticed that I've grabbed all my props, and that's because I have tight hips, we're gonna go from down dog, float that right leg straight up, and then exhale, draw that right shin bone in between the thighs. Now take a moment here. Before you settle in, lift your heart up and then notice how much spaciousness you might have underneath this right side. So you can see my hand here. That might be enough for a block, a folded blanket, a pillow. But give yourself what you first need before you pour yourself forward. This might be a good place for you to stay. Again, keep working that right hip back and the left hip forward. We'll take a smooth breath to inhale. Grow the spine long. As you do that, you're gonna feel elongation on this left side thigh. And then exhale slowly. So you always wanna lengthen from the spine. slowly pour yourself forward. The minute you feel feedback on that right side butt cheek, few options. Depending on where your body's telling you to stop, you can bring forearms to the blocks. Back of the neck is long. You can bring a block or a large book to lengthen the back of the neck and place it right under the forehead. You can bring your hands as a pillow to support your forehead. And just let yourself soften now into whichever variation feels right, feels nourishing, and delicious for your body. You live inside of you, and only you know what you feel. Only you know what you go through. Only you know what you're experiencing. Despite how well you may try to articulate it to another, your experience is invaluable. And to relinquish your power to look like or match someone else's frequency, shape, or vibration robs the world of your experience, robs you of what brings you joy. See if you can breathe into the space now that might be opening up and bringing you the wisdom and the nourishment that you might be needing in this moment. It's not about how far you get. It's not about what you look like. It's about how honest can I be with myself in this moment for what I need. Take a smooth breath to inhale wherever you are. And almost as if you're on vacation or moving on island time, slowly walk yourself back up. If you're on your back in ankle to knee pose, you're gonna slowly trade one leg out for another. If you're in pigeon, you're gonna slowly take your time and move your way back to downward facing. Take your time here. And then reorganize the segments of your body. Take that left leg up. Then draw that left knee in between your hands, shin bone, parallel, hopefully, to the front of your mat. One side is always a little bit more open or user-friendly. If you have scoliosis like I do, definitely one side is more open. And take a moment and bring your hands to your blocks slightly in front of you as you stack your shoulders over your hips. This lets you know how much room you have on this side, how much padding you might need. And grow the spine long. Feel a subtle lift of your pelvic floor, Mula Bandha. You might feel that back leg, that right thigh opening up. And where can you soften in this shape before folding forward? You move slowly into what feels right for you. It might be here. That might be all you need. Whichever variation, I'll walk through them all for you. Might be propping your forehead. I want you to take ownership of it. Might be stacking your hands and making a little pillow. For me, what I've realized in the almost 25 years I've been teaching is that the more we practice taking agency over what feels right, the more we practice saying, no, that doesn't feel good today. It did maybe earlier this morning, or even yesterday, or last week, or last month. the healthier our relationship with ourself becomes. And no one can do that. That's a personal journey, and that's what this practice, the individuation of yoga, offers. Once we have that, and we feel good and we feel joyful with what our needs are, the less we expect others to give it to us. That's the dismantling. The more we can simply have positive, nourishing relationships with others that are based on healthy boundaries. So breathe into the space that's opening up for you. What's coming to light right now? What might you be surrendering? And then slowly bring your hands, again, as if you're on vacation. Move slowly like you don't want to go back home. Slide your hands underneath you. If you're on your back in figure 4, stay there. If you're moving from a forward bend, stack the shoulders. We'll come out of this the old school lazy way. You'll bring that back leg around, take your time, and then slowly lengthen your legs. Once again, if you're on the figure 4, you're just gonna stay there, uncross your legs. Little Dandasana staff pose. Feel the connection from crown to base here. Line of energy moving down. And then bring the hands down. As we move into Savasana, I give you the option today to bring blocks or large books, if you have large books, underneath the thighs, just to support the backs of the legs. It's where the unconscious resides. It's almost as if it's a nice hug for your body as well. And then take a light blanket. This is not to induce heat, but quite the opposite, to induce rest. And you'll cover yourself up. I'll show you what this looks like. Thighs are supported. You'll cover yourself in a light blanket. This helps to stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest, bringing your body back into a state of ease. Once you're in Shavasana, you might lift your head and reposition the back of the crown. You might lift your shoulders up and realign the space between the shoulder blades. You might lift your pelvis up and let the flesh of your buttocks hold your hip bones. And simply let yourself now receive the benefits of your practice without needing to do anything, be anything more. Finding peace, shanti, shanti. Shantihi. Asatoma sargamayam tamasoma jyotirgamayam mrityurmamritam gamayam. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Peace with ourselves, peace with others, and peace with the very forces governing all life. Shanti, Shanti, Shantihi. Rub your thumbs over each fingertip, bringing your consciousness back into your body. Stretch the arms up overhead and reach one side longer than the other. And stretch the other side out. Intentionally gather your knees to your chest. And either rolling over to the right side or rocking and rolling forward. Guide yourself to any comfortable seat, letting your head arrive last. Press your palms to the heart and feel this merging of duality. It happens automatically because we are duality. We are spirit and matter. We have masculine energy, feminine energy, lunar, solar, inner and outer realms. And this very posture, this very mudra, seal, reminds us that the duality is found in oneness, one gesture, right at the heart. So bow down to the wisdom of the heart that knows only love, only light, and let that lead you. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you so much for joining. Namaste. Make a fist with the right hand, cover it with the left, press it below the navel, lean forward, and feel a subtle lift of your pelvic floor. It helps to reground you so you're not walking around with yoga brain.